G'day, my name's Dr. Hayden and I've recently graduated from university. Today I really want to talk about the concept of bullying and how to avoid being bullied, because I struggled a lot with bullying in high school, and this, as an Australian, high school kind of goes through middle school and high school if you're outside of Australia, but essentially it's around that 12 to 17-year-old age group. But this kind of applies to bullying in general. Bullying kind of comes in different forms once you become an adult, but certainly some of the core principles or some of the fundamentals of bullying still really start in that kind of age group. When people tell you about, stopping a bully, they say you got to stand up to the bully. But that means a lot of different things. That could mean, you just simply tell them to stop, put your hand up or whatever, but it also could just mean to, they could be encouraging violence. So personally, I just don't think violence is the answer, and oftentimes it can be very difficult to confront your bully because it takes a lot of courage. You're not sure if it's going to work, and it can often make things more complicated for the rest of your schooling career. Granted, it's still a really good idea. I'm not necessarily going to teach you how to stand up to a bully as much as have the effect of a bully kind of nullified. I think everybody can do this if you just keep watching. So in Australia, you leave primary school when you're about 12 years old and you enter high school when you're about 12 years old going into 13. And so when I first moved to high school, and you could substitute this for middle school, but when I first moved into my new school, I didn't have any friends. I loved Pokemon as a kid, and I still love Pokemon, and the problem was I brought my Nintendo to high school. I had been wearing Pokemon merchandise and I would get bullied for it. So some of the things I got bullied for, I was short, I had a big backpack because I thought that you had to carry all your books in the one backpack. I had freckles, I had pimples, I had braces. When I would play Pokemon on my Nintendo DS during school, I used to get called things like Nintendo, like some really awful names. The point is, I think there's greater extents of being bullied, but I have some experience. The first step, in my opinion, is to not necessarily think of bullies as bullies, because it's very rare, or it's more rare that somebody comes after you that is targeting you, that really wants to make you feel pain. It's more like people are just mean and inconsiderate, and the chances are that if they're mean to you, they're also mean to their friends, they're mean to their parents, they're mean to their teachers, they're mean to their little siblings, mean to their older siblings. They're just kind of an overall mean person. And I think when people are mean to us, we take it very personally, and so we should, but the chances are that this person that's mean to you isn't just mean to you, they're actually mean to everyone in their life. Like, bullies will make fun of your teeth, they'll make fun of your height, they'll make fun of your acne, they'll make fun of all these personal things about you, and you'll take it very personally, but it's not as actually well thought out. It's kind of like the first thing they see, oh, this kid has buck teeth. But being aware that this person is not just being mean to us, but being mean to everybody, it doesn't make it any less insulting, but what it does is just allow you to recognize that it's not just me they're targeting, it's actually everyone in their life, that kind of person that's mean to everyone. And what this mean person is doing is what's called projecting insecurity. And I'm going to repeat that term, projecting insecurity. Projecting insecurity. So what does that mean? It's important to understand why mean people exist, and why bullies exist, because sometimes people will be mean to you because they said a bad joke, or they accidentally said something they really didn't mean to, and so it takes the sting out of that bad comment. If somebody says a joke that was mean but they didn't really mean it, that's something that you don't really need to get offended about, because that person wasn't really trying to be mean to you. Whereas there are definitely people out there that will be mean to you because they want you to hurt. And so we're talking about this. So why do people want to hurt other people? And why do kids in particular want to hurt you? That just makes no sense. The reason why people are mean, or a big reason why people are mean, is because they feel bad about themselves. they feel really bad about themselves. It's really hard to feel really good about yourself, to love who you are, and be mean to people. It just doesn't really happen. Again, I'll just repeat that. These people do not feel good about themselves. It looks, potentially, they're the most popular kid at school, they're doing well academically, this person seems like they've got everything sorted. I'm telling you, if they are a mean person, they feel bad about themselves. And they might be in a better situation than you. They may not have a reason to feel bad about themselves, but the truth is, they do. And I will guarantee it, they feel bad about themselves. That's why they're making fun of you and other people. It doesn't excuse that meanness, but that's the reason. That's the reason. They feel bad about themselves, and so they're gonna project that insecurity because they feel bad about themselves. So in middle school and high school, this is gonna be a very obvious form of bullying. It's gonna be, I hate that you wear Pokemon, your haircut looks dumb, you look ugly. This kind of bullying is very obvious, and this will morph when you're an adult into more kind of passive aggressive ways. They'll say, oh, that's an interesting shirt you've got on, or something like that. You've just got to understand that when people are mean to you on purpose, it's because they do not feel good about themselves. It's really hard to, and you see this online all the time, when people write bad comments, they do not feel good about themselves. That's why they're writing it in the first place. Nobody who loves themselves really has time to write mean comments on a YouTube video. Let's just put it that way. So if people feel bad about themselves, what is the point of making fun of other people or being mean to other people? The point is that because they feel so down, they feel like they need to bring everybody else who's feeling good down. So if a bully sees a kid playing Pokemon and having fun with his Nintendo, he's going to bring that person down because he also feels down and he wants to feel good by bringing that person down to his or her level. And that's what we call projecting the insecurity. They're projecting, if a bully is bullying you for liking Minecraft, the chances are that that bully actually likes Minecraft, but they're not allowed to play it either for whatever reason. They'll get made fun of by their parents or their siblings. And so they want to bully other people who play Minecraft because they don't want anybody else to play it. If they can't play it, then nobody else gets to play it. Or if they bully you for a hairstyle, the thought of them wearing that hairstyle, they would get bullied for it. So they feel the need to bully them, because when somebody does something fun that they're not allowed to do, or they can't get away with doing, it makes them feel bad. And this continues into adulthood. It's important to understand this concept of projecting insecurity, because when somebody says something mean to you on purpose, they are looking for you to feel bad. So they're making fun of you for playing Pokemon, right? And being a nerd. They want you to feel like a nerd. They want you to feel really bad about playing Pokemon. When you show that you feel bad, when you show that their insult has hit you, they're going to feel good. And and naturally you feel bad because somebody just insulted you. And it's really hard to not feel bad when somebody insults you, and it still catches me off all the time. It's still, when somebody just insults you for no reason, it's really hard to not show any sign of insult or offense. Like, how could you say that? But the key to what I'm about to tell you is you nullify, by not showing reaction, by being able to keep calm and not react, not show that that person insulted you, you rob the bully of their satisfaction of making you feel down. And so if you're able to rob the bully of that experience of making him feel better or her better by making you feel down, if you don't feel down at all, the bully stays on that level and you remain above the bully. The key to nullifying a bully, you don't have to think of anything clever. You don't have to really say a dramatic comeback, even though that would be a great, you don't have to punch them in the face. All you have to do when someone calls you a bad nickname and they look at you, just have a neutral, silent expression and you don't say anything. So just this. All you do is this. Don't have a face or a face, a neutral. I think meditation tells you to take a deep breath, and you should take a deep breath, but don't be obvious about it. Don't go like that, like that's going to be too obvious that you've been insulted. Just keep nice and calm. You know, you can even let the insult sink in a little bit. You know, that's fine. But you just keep a neutral expression and you don't say anything. You just remain silent. And then you go on to whatever you were doing before that bully had said that nasty thing. You just move on. What this does, I know it sounds like you've let the bully win because you haven't really said anything, you haven't said anything, like, you haven't given that awesome comeback, you haven't really, whatever, like, but I'm telling you, this is the most, in my opinion, this is a very powerful thing you can do to keep power, because what you're doing by allowing silence and no reaction is forcing the bully to think about what they've just said. I want to call you an idiot right now, all right? So you're an idiot. And if I don't get that reaction of, oh man, I'm an idiot, if I don't get that reaction from you, I'm going to feel like, oh, yeah, I feel pretty bad about it. Like, you just naturally feel like, oh, like, I'm kind of an asshole. I think that's the thing. It's like when you create that silence, there's no reaction to get. All of a sudden, the person who's being mean, remember how we talked about how the person who's mean feels bad about themselves? So when you don't react, that person who feels bad about themselves is going to have to reflect on the fact that they feel bad about themselves in that moment of silence. Now, normally that's enough, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes the bully will get desperate and they'll keep calling you that name. Hey, ugly, hey, ugly, hey, ugly, I said your name. Like, this happens in school, but it also happens, you know, when you get older, unfortunately. If they keep annoying you about it, again, maintaining that silent, normal reaction, if they keep calling you that name, it means they're very desperate. It means you're actually getting to them because they're not getting that satisfaction and they're very desperate because they probably feel even worse about themselves than a normal person would. If they keep hunting for that reaction, they feel really, really bad, and so they're desperate for that satisfaction of bringing you down. And it can get very annoying when somebody keeps calling you a name over and over again. If you don't react, but they keep calling you that name, or they keep asking you, like, they keep demanding your attention, another thing you can do is just pretend you didn't hear what they said. So you can just say, what, did you say something? Like, excuse me? And again, this kind of, they know that you've heard them the first time. Like, a normal person would know that they've spoken loud enough and clearly enough that you know you knew what they said. Whenever somebody says something to you and, you know, they didn't hear what you said, you actually have to think about what you're saying when you say it again, because people don't think before they speak, right? Most people don't really think before they speak, and that includes me. So when somebody insults someone and then they ask, oh, can you repeat that? I actually didn't hear what you said. It actually forces them to think about what they're saying. And oftentimes that gives them the opportunity to go, oh, I actually didn't, it gives them an escape route. You know, I actually didn't mean that. Oh, I actually don't really think that about that person. I'm going to retreat. You know, it gives them a way out, and that way you maintain, they're not going to do that again. If they insult you, you don't react, they insult you again, and then you go, oh, did you say something? They're not really going to want to, it gives them a way to go, oh, I actually don't like this, and they'll say, oh no, don't worry about it. If that doesn't work, this person is super desperate. They are super desperate, and chances are they're very jealous. Like, this is where you get into the jealous territory. When someone's actually really jealous of you, and they want to hurt you because they feel not only bad about themselves, but they think that you are somebody who they want to be, but they're not. They will keep hunting after that. They're just going to keep relentlessly hunting after that thing of making you feel bad. So even if that doesn't work, even if you've said, oh, I actually didn't hear you, and they say, well, what I want to say is whatever, like insert mean thing. What you can then do is just say, again, it's really hard, but you can do it. You just, like, it's hard, but it's still something that I know you can do. It's just, all you have to do is just say, okay, thank you for your opinion, and then move on. Just say, thanks for your opinion, and move on. Because it's really hard to then say anything after that. Because what they're looking for was the reaction of like, hey, that's a really mean, like, even if you say, hey, that's a really mean thing you said, that still robs them of the interaction, but you do not want to get angry when someone insults you. That allows the bully to win. You really want to just maintain a calm and neutral expression and make sure that the bully's insult didn't hurt you in any way. And you'll get better and better at this as life goes on, but this is just a really key point to making sure that you don't get bullied in your current situation. Yeah, so there was one time in high school where I, was sick. I went to the school reception and I vomited everywhere. And one of the kids heard about that story and then they started calling me Spewy. Hey, Spewy. And that nickname could have stuck if I'd said, I'm not Spewy. But as soon as I just started to go, all right, whatever. All right, thanks. I didn't like that name, but it's like, okay, all right, whatever. It kind of just loses the tang, because when you call somebody a bad nickname and they go, oh, I don't like that name, then they know that it gets to you and they know that they can keep using it. So this is why really ugly nicknames, really awful nicknames stick, particularly in high school, because it's a known thing they can use on you to make you feel bad. And again, even if they've been calling you this nickname, throughout most of your school life, if you're able to harness the ability to just not react, it can fade away. I really do believe that it will probably fade away if you just don't react and you move on. You don't give them the satisfaction of making you feel bad. Again, I just want to reiterate, the worst thing you can do is just react to what they say in a negative way and allow them to see that you've been insulted and that you feel bad, because that will make them feel better from then on. And that's how nicknames stick. And again, the more desperate the bully is to bully you, that probably means that they are jealous of you. Sometimes bullies are just mean or inconsiderate, and so they might say something mean to you once, and so you don't want to conflate that with jealousy, because you don't want to just call somebody out for being jealous just because they say something offhandedly mean to you. But at the same time, if they're constantly trying to drag you down, there's a good chance that that person feels really, really bad about themselves and they think that you're a person who is able to do things that that bully can't. So to summarize this in 3 steps, so the first thing you do when somebody calls you something mean is to just not react. So just neutral expression, and then just go on with whatever you were doing. So that's step 1, neutral reaction, no reaction. Step 2, if they keep pestering you, pretend that you didn't hear what they said. Excuse me, did you say something? Like, okay, you've got my attention, you said something, I know that you said something, but I didn't quite understand what you said. So this allows an exit path for the person being mean, and it also allows them to rethink about what they've actually said and really, do I really want to keep doing this? So that's step 2. And step 3, if they're still trying to bully you, is just acknowledge what they've said. Yep, I understand that you've said something to me. Thank you for that information. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. That's the trick. That's the secret. If you follow those 3 steps, it's a very uncontroversial way to stand up to a bully. Oh yeah, and this is something that used to get to me in high school. But sometimes you follow these 3 steps and the bully still feels like they've gotten to you. So if you do these 3 things and the bully still laughs at you and makes fun of you and walks away, don't feel bad. Do not feel bad, because I guarantee that the bully is probably with their friends and they're walking away from that interaction burning on the inside. I'm telling you, there is no feeling like you went up to be mean to someone and they called you out. It didn't work. And then they're going to feel even worse about themselves. That's the point. So if you've robbed a bully of their ability to be mean to you, they are going to burn on the inside. They're going to feel so bad about themselves. And that's why they're going to project more insecurity. They're going to laugh it off. They're going to say, oh, ha, ha, stupid idiot. You know, can't believe that this guy was not even reacting to being called, she wore a Minecraft shirt and she's not even embarrassed about it. Ha ha. That person is burning on the inside. So it's just really important that even though it feels like you know, the bully got, you know, they insulted you and you didn't even react and they walked away from it scot-free, I'm telling you, emotionally what you just did to that person is you are burning them up on the inside. So you've really got to understand that. You actually didn't allow them to win. You are actually the person that's won because you haven't let that bully get to you, but that bully is walking away from the interaction hurting. They're hurting. They're physically hurting. So I know you might be physically hurting, but I would argue the bully is walking away from that interaction that we just talked about hurting way more. Please let me know how this goes for you. I'd love to know what you think, if it worked or not. And if it works for you, please share this video with a friend. I just really want to let this comment section be a safe space for you to talk about anything you're struggling through in high school or whatever. I really hope that we can kind of create a community of people that want to help each other. So again, let me know how it goes for you, and I really hope that we can work on removing bullying from the world. You know, I think everybody deserves to be treated with respect. So thank you very much.